Today I am going to review and flip through 9 Heads, a guide to drawing fashion by Nancy Riegelman. This is a massive book. It is over 550 pages. This is the 4th edition, and the 4th edition includes a section on Photoshop, which I don't believe was included in previous editions. The very back of the book has women's flats, tops, blouses, jackets, and pants, sleepwear. I've seen other reviews of this book. Some people like it, some people love it, some people don't love it. The title of the book is 9 Heads, and that refers to the head height of the model. So it is that elongated, typical, stylized fashion model. However, the ankles and the feet are not included in that 9 head height measurement, which I've never seen before. So I'm a little confused by that. But if you are brand new to drawing the fashion figure, the beginning of this book is very, very basic. So if you need that step-by-step instruction, I think this would be a good choice. It gets into drawing line weights, it gets into shading, and then it goes into drawing the head. And I do have one criticism. I don't think the proportions are right on the head. It doesn't, even for a stylized fashion figure, it's too narrow in my opinion. And it's overly stylized. I do like that she shows a lot of different angles. I think that's very helpful. But I think all of them, especially the 3/4 view and the side view, all of the heads are too narrow in my opinion. Just my opinion. It's a stylized version, so you can draw it any way you want. But I don't think it looks quite right. It gets into eyes and nose and mouth, drawing ears, drawing hair, although the hair is not step by step. It has a pretty good section on hands. If you find hands a challenge, I think this is would be pretty helpful. It's very basic, but the same with feet. I think hands and feet can be some of the most difficult things to learn to draw on the fashion model. One thing about this book, it is all rendered, most of the book, in black and white, in pencil. There's not a lot of color in this book. It does have a lot of variations on poses, a lot of different leg positions, which I think is nice. There's a tiny bit of color, but only a few pages here and there. The reason I have an issue with that is because color is such an integral part of fashion, of fabric, of garments. And I don't know if it was done like that because of printing costs, but I think if you are going to be a fashion designer or illustrator, completely leaving color out of this book, even though these illustrations are absolutely beautifully rendered, it leaves out a big part of what fashion and fashion illustration is all about, and that is the color of the garment. It does cover a lot of details, cuffs and puffy sleeves, and how to draw folds. And then the pencil drawings that are in here are really beautifully rendered. One thing that she does in this book that I really like is she includes, in some of them, let me find one here, she includes the underlying figure underneath the garment. So she kind of includes an outline of the body figure, so you can see exactly how the garment fits the body. And I've never seen that before in other books. It does not include anatomy. I wish that I could find a fashion illustration book that includes some anatomy. And I know that the figure is very stylized, but I think still including some anatomy knowing anatomy helps tremendously in rendering the body. It has a section on shoes, on accessories, on how to draw flats, on skirts and pants and lingerie, and different collars, sunglasses. It even gets into different weaves of fabric. And it did show there was a page on drawing, on stitching. And then it does cover a short section on drawing the male figure and male fashion, and a short section on drawing children. And then it gets into what I showed earlier, the section on Photoshop and the flats. This book was a little bit pricey. I bought it brand new on Amazon. It was about $60. You can get earlier versions of the book used for less than that. I saw earlier versions listed between $20 to $30 to $40. So overall, I'm happy I have this book. I do refer to it often. I do like the way it is rendered. I think the lack of color could be an issue for some people, but overall, I find it useful. And that is, once again, 9 Heads, A Guide to Drawing Fashion by Nancy Riegelman.